Hello my lovely kids, I am your English teacher Medhavi and our today's topic is verbs, transitive and intransitive. Maybe initially you might be confused regarding transitive verbs and intransitive verbs. But I assure you, if you watch this video carefully and attentively, so this topic will really be digestible and easy to understand for you. So without wasting time, let's get started. We already know that verb is a doing word. He is playing. The baby is sleeping. My mother cooks delicious food. In this, playing, sleeping, cooks, these words are verbs because these words are doing words. A sentence has two parts, subject and predicate. This thing also you have studied in your previous chapters where we studied the formation of a sentence. The person or thing who is performing an action is the subject of the verb. For example, if Sunena is playing basketball, so who is performing the action of playing basketball? Sunena. So in this sentence, Sunena is the subject of the verb. The object of a verb is a person or thing that receives the action done by the subject of the verb. Like if we talk about the previous example, Sunena is playing basketball. So we know that Sunena is the subject here and playing is the verb. Now whatever Sunena, the subject, is doing, its impact is being reflected on the object basketball. So basketball here is our object of a verb. Now what is our tip of the day? To find the subject of a verb, we ask the question who or what. It's very simple. Like I said, Sunena is playing basketball. Who is playing basketball? Sunena. Samrat plucks flower. Who is plucking flower? Samrat. Right. The teacher is making a video. Who is making video? The teacher. So the teacher is the subject. My mother always tells me a nice story before sleeping. So who tells me nice story before sleeping? My mother. Right. So here whoever is the doer and whoever is answering the question who, that is the subject of the verb. To find the object of a verb, we ask the question what or whom. Like for example, Samrat plucks flower. Samrat, the subject. What he plucks? Flowers. So flowers is the object here. My mother tells me a story. My mother is the subject. And what does she tell me? What? Story. So story is the object. The puppy is eating a bone. The puppy is the subject. And what is he eating? Bone. So basically, if we want to find out an object of a verb, so we ask the question what. Samrat plucks what? Flower. So here flower is our object. Now comes to transitive verbs. Verbs that have an object are called transitive verb. Without object, their meaning cannot be completed. For example, he takes an ice cream. Now what he takes? An ice cream. If I write only he takes, so you will not be able to understand that what does he take. This sentence is not making a complete sense. But when we added an ice cream into that, that is an object. And now it is answering the question, what does he take? An ice cream. Lovely has a book. Now has is the verb here, right? If we say Lovely has, so you will not have a complete meaning of the sentence. But when we are adding an object with it, which is a book, so it can answer the question, what does Lovely have? Lovely has a book. Priya is giving. For example, if I write only Priya is giving, so it is incomplete sentence and you are not able to find out the entire meaning of this sentence. You will be confused. Now, if I write here, Priya is giving the money. So, you will able to understand, okay, what is Priya giving? So this what is our money, the money, and this is object. So the verbs that have an object and that cannot be completed without an object are called transitive verbs. याद रखिएगा कि हमारे transitive verbs को complete होने के लिए एक object की जरूरत होती है, right? Then comes intransitive verbs. A verb that does not require an object to complete its meaning is called an intransitive verb. It can make complete sense by itself. Like for example, the flowers bloom. Okay, the flowers is our subject here and bloom is the verb. And if I say the flowers bloom, फूल खिलते हैं, so it is making a complete sense in itself. इसको किसी और word की जरूरत नहीं है. So it is an intransitive verb. Bloom here is intransitive verb. A little baby is sleeping. A little baby is our subject. Sleeping is the verb here. और अगर हमने बोला a little baby sleeping, एक छोटा बच्चा सो रहा है, so it is a complete sentence in itself. It is not requiring an additional object. So it is also an intransitive verb. Radha shouted. Radha chikhi. It's complete in itself. You understood that if I wrote Radha shouted, you understood that okay, Radha shouted. So Radha is the subject here and shouted is the verb, and this verb shouted is intransitive verb क्योंकि इसे किसी भी object की जरूरत नहीं पड़ रही है. The jug fell down. The jug is the subject and fell is the verb here. The jug fell down. यहाँ पर हमने कोई object use नहीं किया है, लेकिन हाँ we have used an adverb of place. तो the jug fell down. So it also does not require an object. So hence it is our intransitive verb. After the discussion of transitive and intransitive verbs, we will just study the forms of verbs. A verb has three forms. The present tense, which is called the first form or root form of the verb. The past tense means the second form of the verb, and the past participle, which is the third form of the verb. Now you have to watch and learn these forms of the verbs. You can find this in your book itself, and it will be really very helpful for you throughout the life if you learn and practice these forms very well. I hope many of these forms you have practiced till now and you know them very well. But some are difficult to use and difficult to understand until you practice them regularly. So I would request you all that please learn these and try to use these forms of verbs as many times as you can in your written and spoken English. There are some verbs that don't change forms. Like cut, it remains cut in all three forms. Bet means shirt lagana. It also remains the same. Hurt remains hurt only. Hit, read, yes, but the pronunciation of read becomes read, read, read. Shut remains shut, put remains put, and set also remains set. This is it for today, my lovely kids. I hope you'll keep learning, you'll take care of yourself and your family. And yes, do not forget to help your mama in household chores. I'll see you soon with another interesting video. Keep learning, keep shining, take care of yourself. Thank you.